All right. He's the talk of the town. You've seen him on Instagram.
Yeah.
You've learned stuff from him.
Absolutely.
He's amazing. His name is Evan Lovett, and he's in here with us. Good morning, Evan.
What is up?
Oh, my God. It's your LA in a minute.
Seriously, thank you for having me. This is awesome. I mean, Power 106 since the day I was born.
Yeah.
So this is dope.
And you grew up in Van Nuys.
I was born in Van Nuys, and I grew up in Sepulveda, which is now known as North Hills, which is Van Nuys adjacent. So,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you see his Instagram videos or if you see his videos at all, he literally breaks down a subject matter that's going on in LA within a minute. Now, I'm sure it doesn't take a minute to edit it or to shoot it, but you make sure to break it down within that time.
It's technically like 3 minutes if you're looking. But
we're having
here's
fun.
why. LA in a minute, right? When you talk to somebody on the phone and you're like, yo, I'm getting off the freeway. I'll be there in a minute. That could be like 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
True. All right.
So like in a minute is colloquial. But
so now I don't trust you because I legit thought, hey, I think I'm doing well because I'm getting all this info in 1 minute. So I feel like, hey, I'm not on here for an hour, but.
But that's how entertaining it is, right?
Yeah, but you
Where
don't
it
even
feels
notice how
like
much
a
time
minute.
goes
There
by.
you go.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, so you started this just last year then.
18 months. Yeah.
18
January of
months.
2022.
That's so dope.
What led you to be like, you know what? This is cool information. These are fun facts that I want to share about Los Angeles to my Instagram following or to my social media platforms.
I'll tell you what's funny is I used to text my friend. Like, I'm just a guy. I like information and facts.
Yeah.
And then I'm that dude that's like texting you all the time. And people would be like, why is Evan texting me all the time?
Yeah.
I'd be like Denny's used to be called Danny's Donuts. It started as a donut shop. So, and I remember this like December before I started in 2021. I was like, yo, guys, did you know Denny's used to be donut? And nobody,
Wow.
and people are like, okay, that's cool or whatever. But I love those kind of facts,
those
right?
kind of facts
and then
too.
Taco Bell started as burgers, and they stole the idea from Meat La Cafe across the street when they saw the line for the crispy tacos over there in San Bernardino. And I'd be like texting people, and I'm like, yo. At the same time, my son was getting into screen time, and like he found out about TikTok. I only knew TikTok is dances, and you know, I was like, this is terrible. But if he's gonna be on the screen, I want him to have good content.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just start a TikTok with these like facts about LA because that's what I love and that's what I read about.
And now my son can't escape me no matter what he tries. Yeah. That's super cool. Look, this is something only you're gonna know because only me and you are nerds. Vic, what color is my shirt?
Tangerine.
Evan, what color is my shirt?
I felt like I was gonna say orange.
Okay, but what kind of orange? You just did a video on it, Evan.
Oh, Dodger orange.
Dodger orange,
there
baby!
you go.
Okay.
Yeah. We know about Dodger Blue, but you didn't know about Dodger Orange,
I
did
didn't
you?
know
Well,
about
I can
Dodger
tell you about
Orange.
Dodger
Yeah,
Orange. Did you know the 76, that like the little 76 gas station?
Yeah.
There used to be 76 outside of Dodger Stadium until the
I remember that.
2000s
Yeah.
because when they first built it, the fools that were building it were like, hey, the other fool was like, hey, is it cool if we join forces? And the other guy was like, cool, I'll put a gasoline station in here if you actually sponsor the park. And so that's why the 76 little sign has been at Dodger Stadium. And also the seats are orange because 76 is orange and blue.
Are you serious?
I didn't know
Dude,
that.
good
I am
breakdown.
I am your child. I am your child. You are my dad. And this is how I explore the information I received from you. I just regurgitated.
That's
Dodger
awesome.
orange. Well done. That is
Yeah.
the absolute truth.
But it's
Union
not
Oil.
76, right? It's
It
Union
was
Oil.
Union Oil back then, absolutely. But 76 to this day, still a proud sponsor.
Yeah.
Gas station. Gas station is
I'm blown
not a
away.
gas station
Yeah.
anymore. It's a storage facility. But
That's a
Yeah.
trip that they even had a gas station at Dodger
I
Stadium, so
remember
you could
those days.
fill up while you were there.
and what's
Yeah.
cool is the players used to fill up. Like
That's
there's the whole
awesome.
story that the players would actually get their gas there too, which I think
Yeah.
is pretty cool. Yeah.
So if you go to
cool.
76, yes, you're paying a lot more than Arco, but hey, there's a Dodger tie there.
And do you guys remember the little pins? 76 used to have these Dodger pins. This is probably before your time, but they used to have pins. If you fill up like 8 times, you get a free pin. Or there's 76 balls that
I
you would
remember
put
that.
on the
on
antenna.
top of the antennas.
Yes, that were like little, because the Dodger Stadium used to have the circular 76 ball. Now it's like a flat circle, but they used to have the circular like 76 ball.
That's super cool.
Letty
See?
made me
Wow.
realize the other day that none of our cars have antennas anymore, and I didn't
Yeah.
even realize that.
Yeah.
We were talking about Jack in the Box and how we used to put
Dude,
them in
I
the
just
wall.
realized that right now.
What happened to the antennas?
Is that true?
That's true.
I mean, it makes sense, right? But
Yeah.
I never
no
thought
one
about
noticed
that.
there was
Yeah.
no more antennas.
The
No one
antennas
noticed.
are just gone now.
Yeah, they're
That's
gone.
crazy.
The only people that have antennas are like the old school, the cop cars too.
Yeah, the cop cars, because
That's it.
for their like communicating.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is that how you could tell an undercover too? If you
Yeah.
see
Oh
like
yeah,
a-
for sure.
Okay,
The mirrors.
okay.
The mirrors give it away.
I like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And then the California license plates when it says California exempt.
True. Yeah.
Jeez, what are you doing?
I peeped that.
Angie, this is not snitching a minute. This is a minute. You also did one, and it brought back like really good memories for me because my grandma used to always take me to Thrifty. And when it was Thrifties before Rite Aid bought it, and then it turned into like Rite Aid with Thrifty Ice Cream. But you did a whole breakdown on Thrifty's ice cream, and I didn't know it was from LA. Like I just thought everyone in the world has it, but it's an LA thing.
It's well, everyone in the world does have it
Oh,
now,
okay, now.
but it started in LA. And again, that's part of the reason why I started LA in a minute, because I keep uncovering these things, or I'm finding out these things that I'm like, that started in LA. Like
That's
obviously we know Tommy's Fat Burger In and Out, but it's like Panda Express, things like that. I didn't realize
That's
Thrifty Ice
crazy.
Cream,
that.
like where it's like, whoa, all these things come out of Los Angeles, and that's what makes me so proud. And again, I just want to share the stories and tell the history and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It makes me so proud. And legit, that's what I love being on LA's #1 radio station for hip hop, Power 106. This is legacy. There's history here.
Yep.
And it's stuff that like you want to share to the audience, right? And it feels cool that somebody else is doing that like on social media. Like legit seeing you do that, it's like, oh, we're all the same kind of like-minded. We really feel proud about where we're from.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And we always heard LA has no history and no culture. All you got to do is look.
Yeah,
and like
it's
that's the
everywhere.
thing. So, by the way, Power 106, do you know the first day on air as Power 106?
Oh.
For us,
Okay.
I
Came
can tell you.
prepared.
No, not like your first day of work, Angie. Like the
thought-
first day of Power 106. I
was
do
gonna
know
say.
that it used to be dance music and then it switched to hip hop, but it was still Power at the time when it was dance music. But I don't know the exact.
It was
neither.
dance, and then it was adult contemporary, and
Yeah.
then January 11th, 1986, they switched over officially to Power 106.
Wow.
Wow.
First DJ, if any guys remember, was Jay Thomas,
You're
who
crazy.
I actually do remember. That's how old
What?
I am.
Wow.
Jay
Damn,
Thomas,
I wasn't
yeah.
even born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sick.
Okay, our
That's
guy
crazy.
Rick Cummings, he literally founded and literally is so responsible for the part of the genre, the platform, and what we know now as hip hop radio. He's a consultant for us, and I know he would love like you knew your stuff. Like he would be super over the moon
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I
Cool
grew
guy.
up with, dude.
Yeah.
I was Baker Boys. I remember
Come
when
on.
when Homeboy Industries like first became a thing, and then like Baker Boys were doing a lot of like collaboration
Yeah.
with them, and like how
Wow.
important they are still to the community. Homeboy
this day.
Industries with the Homegirl Cafe,
Yeah.
Homeboy Bakery, all that kind
Have
of
you
stuff.
been?
But I'm doing a story on them. I'm going for one of their
Ooh.
infamous 8:50 a.m. meetings later this month.
Wow.
That's
I'm gonna do a story,
awesome.
350 employees.
Oh, you're
like,
gonna get jumped
millions
in.
of dollars
So
of revenue.
dope.
Absolutely,
Yay.
absolutely.
And then they're gonna make you bake some stuff
But
out
I'm
of it.
Yeah.
excited. It's important. It's so
Yeah.
important what they've done for the community and everything.
That's so
yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
I first found out about you when you did the Art Laboe
Breakdown,
piece,
yeah.
and I was like, so many things I never knew about him, and it was just so amazing. And I remember specifically, I texted Teletia, and I think she had already seen it. I was like, I felt so dumb.
No,
but,
you're not.
But it was just like, wow, this is amazing. Like the breakdown of everything, and just having so much information, just like boom, 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 boom into your brain, and you're now like, I'm a Art Laboe expert. Yes.
Yes. And you got to, again, Art Laboe, most important perhaps was he pushed for playing minority artists at
Yeah.
a time in the 50s when like that was controversial,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is so crazy because that's where so much like great, outstanding,
Comes
legendary
from,
music
yeah.
comes from.
Yep.
The first one, of course, to do the shout outs and
Yeah.
everything. which
That's
is-
amazing.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is funny.
Even
but
like the compilation albums.
But what was crazy, yes, yes, the
Yeah.
first with the
Super
which
cool.
is so, and I took that for granted. I'm like, oh, of course those have existed
Yeah,
forever.
forever.
But no, he was
No.
like the first one. But what totally threw me for a loop, and especially I thought this is such an LA thing, was he was Armenian, and I
Yeah.
never,
What?
I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Art
Like,
Laboe.
I'm learning so much right now.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
so I mean, like again, with LA, who's such a proud Armenian community.
Super. I grew up in Glendale, so they're like all my friends. Yeah.
My dad was born in Glendale, by the way,
Really?
and now my son goes to school in Glendale.
Glendale has a great
So
school
now
district.
we're really connected now.
Sheesh, 818 vibes. Come on.
go.
We're
Hold
better
on.
than all of you. Kidding.
Is Glendale part of the Valley?
Oh, that's so huge. That's a huge debate because
Oh.
we're technically Northeast LA, so we're Nella, right?
Yeah.
But we are 818 to the Valley. I think no one claims us. They both hate us. Like the San Fernando Valley is like, you guys are not Valley, and then LA is like, no, you are not LA. So we're just Glendale.
Glendale's its own thing, kind of like Long Beach. It's kind of its own thing.
Maybe, but I think Long Beach wants to be its own thing. Glendale wants to be a part of something. I really want to be claimed by either or.
Good breakdown.
That's why I just say I'm 818 because it covers.
I throw it in the 818 umbrella. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go to the other side of the city. Is Calabasas the valley? Because that's 818
All right,
over
now
there.
we're gonna fight you.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
tricky.
yeah.
It's tricky.
What type of tequila you drink, bro? Is it 818?
No,
Okay,
it's
because
not.
I'm gonna tell the homegirl industries and the homeboy industries.
You know, I got tricked on that 818 because somebody bought me a bottle. And I'm so proud 818, right?
Yeah.
So somebody bought me a bottle and it's like, oh my God,
got our own
818.
bottle.
This is going to be the tequila I drink for the rest of my life. And then one of my friends come over and they're like, dude, you're drinking that Kendall Jenner
Yeah, Kendall
tequila? And I was
Jenner.
like, no.
Uncut
I was like,
Gems.
no, that cannot be. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, dude, I was
Yeah, bro.
crushed. I was
Yeah.
crushed because I
Yeah.
thought that was going to be my tequila for the rest of my life.
But that means we have to come up with the 818 tequila. Like there should be some type of tequila that is representing that culture that is 818. It's so big and beautiful. So I love the 818.
And by the way, just for the record, I drink Espolón because it is inexpensive and pretty good.
$25.99.
It does its
you can
job.
throw it- Yes, absolutely. Bottle's a nice little shape,
Yeah.
easy to pour. Yes.
And that was your getting drunk in a minute. All right. Do you notice a lot of people doing their in a minutes because inspired by you?
It's a funny question because I do. I'm like,
Your dad.
I try not to be a hater.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But when I saw one yesterday that was like a rollout of an in a minute. We're going to talk about such and such in a minute. And I was like, damn it. And again, it's flattery. Look, imitation is flattery. I
Right.
get all that. But people are starting to. But again, I didn't invent the
Right.
concept,
Yeah.
and I got to keep evolving. You know what I mean? Forever. Yes, that'll
you have
be
a
my.
podcast. You're doing many other things besides just those small videos, right?
I got to plug the podcast In a Minute with Evan Lovett. Make sure you check it out.
Yeah.
It's like LA in a Minute, but longer form and more in depth. And I work hard on it. Check it
Yeah.
out. In a Minute with Evan Lovett.
But it's not a
yes.
minute long, you guys, is what I'm finding out.
Those are like 20 to 30. But I put
Okay.
a lot of stories and anecdotes in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but I'm proud of what I've created.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody's quote unquote copying it, well, good for them. I mean,
Yeah.
I still like to think that I keep improving and sort of maybe do it better and
Yeah.
have a little bit of personality.
No one is
behind
you,
it.
and that's your power, dog. Come
There
on.
you go.
Rip
There
that.
you
Come
go.
on.
That's right.
Because, okay, so then there's also this thing that I learned from you. I learned so much. You're a teacher. My teachers have nothing on you. Van Nuys.
Yes.
Super proud because my guy Maximo, we're Valley babies. Take that Boyle Heights. Take that Downey. Take that OC. Yeah. I.e., where you at? For real, where you at? No, okay, no. But cruising started in Van Nuys.
Yes, and a lot. Okay, so cruising did start in Van Nuys, and when I ran that episode, I took a lot of heat from the East LA, from the
Yeah.
Whittier Boulevard folks, because listen,
Haters.
car culture obviously came from LA, and there were car clubs all over, and Boyle Heights, East LA, those areas. They were trying to cruise out there, but you got to remember in the 1950s, LAPD, racist ass cops,
Yeah.
they would just arrest as soon as you get 2-3 cars out there,
You're
boom,
done.
stop. And you see these old pictures of cars lined up on the side of the
Yeah.
road with like 20 cop cars, like they're
Yeah.
starting to ride or something. So they'd come to the valley, honestly, where it was very Anglo at the time.
Yeah.
And Van Nuys Boulevard, this is something that I didn't know.
Huge.
That was actually based the way they set up the street and why it's so wide. If you guys have seen Van Nuys Boulevard, it's like super wide. They based it on Paseo de la Reforma in Mexico City, which is like one of the most famous streets in the world, and that's why it stretches the valley and why it's so wide. But it's a
Wow.
perfect place to like cruise and show off your
Yeah.
car. And because it was like a white area, the cops left
cops
people.
aren't here?
They allowed
Yeah,
it.
so like that was
What?
where cruising was invented, where they just let it go on. And then from 50s, 60s, 70s, it turned into a huge thing. There was a movie called Van Nuys Boulevard that was all about like cruising in the 70s.
I gotta watch it.
Me too.
And then after that point, that's when the cops started cracking down on
like,
it.
oh, you're going
and,
over there too? All right.
and then it died for like 30 years, but now it's back. Go
Yep.
on Sunday night. Not every Sunday night, but most
Yeah.
Sunday nights cruising on Van Nuys, and it's dope. You got the lowriders, you
Yep.
got the music. I mean, it's a fantastic scene, man.
As you're
That's
doing
so
your like
dope.
research, and I know you're talking about just like the crackdown of like certain laws and stuff. Are there laws you're seeing is like that was even a law? You know, I was thinking of how we found out that wearing a pachuco suit
Ha.
was illegal because of the
Yes.
Zoot Suit riots and all that
Correct.
stuff. But it's like we low key have quinceañeras and the kids are wearing them,
Yeah.
right? So, but it's
Yeah.
technically still illegal.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's so many laws on the books. I always hear
Yeah.
in LA specifically. I'm not sure. I know there's like a chewing gum law. That's something where you're not
Yeah.
allowed to like spit out your gum in public,
Yeah.
which I
It's
get.
like any reason to to stop you. They'll figure it out.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
What's up, Vic? You want to tell him?
Yeah. Okay. So I have a confession to make. You inspired me to do a in a minute thing too. I stopped doing it though, but it was
Rosecrans News in a minute.
yeah, Rosecrans News in a minute, and I loved your concept so much, and I was like, nobody's doing this for like hip hop, and
Yeah.
specifically for LA hip hop, because there's so many releases that come out like new artists that don't really get covered, and I was like, dude, I can cram all these in a minute, like that makes sense to me, you know, and so I started to do like a little overlay and stuff, and it was. Like you said, it does take about 2 hours,
To edit
3
it.
hours sometimes to like get everything through. But I don't do it anymore, just so you know.
I got a confession for you.
Yeah.
Is you were the person I was talking about. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I do
But they
know.
can't do it like me. Like no one has.
No,
my-
it wasn't as good, and I don't like being like not really good at something. So I'm like,
Yeah.
pause this, you know. Probably don't revisit it, but it was dope because it's just such a great concept.
I appreciate that. And honestly, you had that hip hop blog, right?
Yes,
The
yes.
Rosecrans app. Do you still?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was like a defining LA hip hop sort of blog.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And I mean, dude, pick
Thank you.
up the Rosecrans app in a minute, man.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Oh, I got the cosign.
Yeah. You have my blessing. You
Yeah,
gotta-
all
you
right.
know it,
Yeah,
dog.
you see that?
Be,
You see that,
it's
Letty?
gonna
I
be
got the
7 minutes
cosign.
long, and it's not gonna be a minute, and it's really agitating and triggering me because I'm
Nah.
on the spectrum apparently. Then I feel like very like if it's not a minute, then why do you say it's a minute?
No, it's hard to cram everything in a minute.
So
It would
hard,
get up to
dude.
like
Not
I
for
think
guys.
The first.
I know many. It's a joke. It's
Wow.
You know, my wife takes a little bit of heat for that
Right.
because sometimes people be like, "It's Mister in a minute."
Yeah.
Oh.
And then, and I'd be like, "No, not
Does she
like
like-
that. Not
Yeah.
like
Does
that.
she start
At
playing
least
like?
2 minutes like that."
At
No,
least,
just kidding.
yeah.
Does she start playing Missy Elliott? Like, I don't want no 1 minute, man.
That's cool beans. I'm sure that it's fun, like especially seeing that you started this for your son, and you started with that in mind, like inspired, and you have so many people inspired. Literally, like we had to interview you. I've done this for over 10 years. Like this is what I do: LA stuff, radio, hip hop, all that. My husband is like, hey, cool. You need to get LA in a minute. Like you need to get that guy
Yeah.
on. Like,
Yes,
and I'm just like,
shout
dog,
out.
he's doing the same thing I'm doing. Yeah, but he's just so much cooler to listen to. And
No,
I'm like, all right.
and then she told us, and she's like, yeah, Jorge said we should get the in a minute guy, and I was like, we all like, yes, let's
Yeah,
do it.
that's
Like, we got-
amazing.
you should have seen how excited we
Man,
got. Me and Michael were
excited!
like,
Yeah!
Oh, that's dope.
Turns into a
That
caveman.
almost matches how excited I was to be here.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
again, Power 106 is one of the foundations of LA. Anybody under a certain, I think anybody under like 45 years old,
Yeah.
50 years old, like has this strong, firm recognition of like what Power 106 is and what it means to LA. So I mean,
Yeah.
dude.
Wow.
That means the world. And honestly, we are so excited to just see you continue on your journey, whether that turns into a little mini doc in a minute. That's not really a minute. Turns into a movie. It turns into a series. All of this, like, I see Netflix. I see, like, episodes,
Yes.
episodic of, like, you
For sure.
going through it. Like, low-key, like, I look at you, and there's this guy in hip-hop called Nardwar.
Yeah.
And you remind me of like Nardwar meets Anthony Bourdain. Like it's just like a cool, like I know a lot of cool stuff. Let me show you this cool stuff and cool. Just so,
Yeah.
but if you do it, just remember that I said it, and because I will fight for my credit.
You put it out there
Yeah.
and you will get credit. I
Yeah.
do not forget. So
Yeah.
I will absolutely give you a shout out if hopefully that comes to be.
It will.
But
You're
yeah, that's-
awesome. Yeah.
Thank you,
And
thank
you're
you.
white. So, it'll happen more for you than it will
You
for
don't
us.
say.
Just some doors open a little easier for you.
Fair enough. I'm married to a Mexican though. Does that
Oh,
count? Does that count?
I didn't know
Wait,
that.
is she from the valley too?
She's from Silmar, by the way.
Whoa!
Proud
Oh my God, we're meant to be friends because I went to Silmar High too.
Wow.
You went to
I
Silmar.
did. I went to Hoover in Glendale, and then I went to Silmar, and then I got teen pregnant. So cool
Dude.
beans, vibes.
I'll,
Shout out her.
I'll tell you what, Silmar is an interesting community
Super
that
cool.
nobody really like thinks about, but it's important to LA.
Yeah.
Silmar is the aqueduct. That's the reason why the city exists, is because of the water.
Give us
Wow.
our props, okay? We are not just gangs.
I didn't know
We
that.
are not just
Silmar
gangs.
still has horsebacks, has
Yep.
horses and people with their ranches and stuff. Silmar has the landfill, which I know people don't like to talk about, but how important.
It's
What are we gonna
important.
do with
It's
the trash?
necessary.
Every person in LA, by the way, throws away 4.8 pounds of trash per day.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
where does all that trash go? Thank you, Silmar,
Silmar.
for having
Yes.
having the
Let's
landfill.
go Spartans!
Silmar also used to have the world's largest olive orchard, just for the record.
Wow,
So-
super
so-
freaking
Silmar-
cool.
Yeah, it's a good community out
That's
there.
dope.
Yeah.
What were you doing somewhere that you found old girl? What were you doing over there?
I mean, I grew up in Sepulveda. My best friend growing up actually lived in Silmar, and I'd ride my bike, which is crazy now to think about. But so my wife and I like went to the same high school at a different time. I went to Monroe.
Oh,
She
wow.
went to Monroe because her sister was in the Magnet, so like you get in
Yeah.
because you're family or whatever. But she's like 4 years younger than me, and we met through a mutual friend, through her sister, blah blah blah.
That's super
Nice.
cool,
Okay.
man. I love
Evan
it.
is invited to the carne asada.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's and he's cooking.
He's gonna
Yeah.
invite us to the.
I know, yeah. He lives in a Mexican household.
That's super
right.
cool. Can you shout out wifey and your son too?
Dude, Irene, I
know.
love you. Thank you for your support.
Aw.
Felix, my man, little buddy.
Wow.
Keep it up. Keep going well. But yeah,
That's so
love
cool.
you guys.
That's so cool.
Your family now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to you. Shout out to our guy. That literally you come in and now you're primo. Like they said, you're invited to the carne asada. Like you're our very own Miklo from Blood and Blood Out. Evan, love it, you guys. Shout out to